Our first case is going to be Mr. Christopher Reed.
Yes, sir. I have them right here.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Reed.
I think that's on the one there.
That's all we got here? One person here?
Yeah, two there.
Two. We got another one here. Who's the other one?
Good afternoon.
Mr. Reed, would you please give me your full name and DOC number?
Christopher Joseph Reed, 762-474.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reed. Let me explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record, and then we're going to conduct a parole interview with you. At the end of that interview, you'll have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say to the board, and then we'll vote. You understand our process?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is Christopher J. Reed, DOC number 762-474, date of birth July the 10th of 1990. He's a second-class offender. His parole eligibility date is April the 14th of 2023. He does not earn good time. He has a full term date of October the 14th of 2025, and he's serving a 5-year sentence on the charges of possession of meth, purse snatching, and 2 counts of aggravated battery. Is that basically correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Your case has been assigned to Mr. Pete Freeman. Mr. Freeman will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions he might have?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Reed, how old are you?
33.
What's your educational level?
GED.
Okay. How long have you done in prison on this 5 years?
4 years, 4 years, a week, 2 weeks.
When you'll have 4 years?
I made 4 years, July 22nd last month.
Okay, did you use drugs and alcohol when you were on the streets?
Alcohol.
Okay, what about the ecstasy pills they found on you? Were they for you or what?
That was for us, just the sell. I don't take any type of drugs. That was for the sell. It was just one pill. But I don't take drugs. I use alcohol.
They said there was 2, well, which isn't much difference, but 2 ecstasy pills. Let's talk about the purse snatching and the aggravated battery. What was going on? Why did you commit that crime?
At that moment, I was going through a dark time. You know, my child's mother, she passed away, and I was in the midst of trying to get custody of my son from his grandmother. And I just going through the courts and, you know, telling them me I'd never give my son. It was real depression. I took depression pills while I was out there, and it's just, you know, I feel like it got the best of me. And I was the type of person that when things didn't go my way, it's like, you know, I'll just do what I have to do. And like, it wasn't any weapon involved. I just thought I could just snatch a lady purse, a few purses, and, you know, get a few dollars just to, you know, for alcohol and to give something to my mother-in-law. I know I was wrong.
Well, the victim claims they were stabbed in the side and that she had to go to the hospital. I was asking what kind of weapon you used.
It was a keychain, like a key. I was drunk. I had like a car key.
All right. Have you received any treatment? Have you done any classes?
No, sir. When I came to Plaquemine, I was told that I'll be in reentry. I came here, I was in reentry dome, then they moved a few guys and said we had too much time left. So I never got any good time. I never lost any good time.
And your battery on the correctional officers. I mean, what went on there? Why did you hit Sergeant Evans?
That was in Orleans Parish. I was dealing with a lot of anger at the time, didn't know what's gonna happen with my charges. And, you know, and it was really just a form of disrespect because he's an openly gay guy. And, you know, the remarks he used to say and the things he used to tell us inmates, you know, it just got the best of me. I came from court and he told me something, rubbed me the wrong way, and it wasn't really just a move, but like I actually hit him. It was more of a wrestling match.
Well, you hit, they said you hit him with a closed fist and also Captain Lewis.
That was, I guess when I was wrestling, I had like 4 deputies coming, just, wrestling me down. It was a big wrestling match. I didn't hit anybody with closed fists.
Says you have one child. How old is your child?
He's turning 6, August 22nd. He's 5 right now.
Okay, do you keep in touch with your child?
The fact that me and my child's mother passed, me and the mother-in-law, we wasn't on good terms because of the court situation I was doing when I was home. So I haven't seen my son since I was been locked up.
Plan on trying to see him when you get out?
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
Better do it the lawful way, okay?
Yes, sir.
Looking at your criminal history, started when you was young. I mean, 16, I think you were when you got your first arrest, or 17.
I was 17. Yes, sir.
And you got a unlawful carrying of a weapon, and you were convicted of a misdemeanor.
Yes, sir.
Then you got an aggravated robbery. Tell me about that aggravated robbery.
This was 2007 or 2006, if I'm not mistaken. This was right after Hurricane Katrina, and I moved to Houston. And basically being young, hanging out with older guys, being a follower, and not having a mind of my own, and wanting to be down, and hey, let's go rob somebody. Me being the youngest of the group, okay, let's go. I was really misled, and I was a youngster, and I signed for, I had time, 15 years, and I done 9 years on, and I made parole.
Okay, this charge started out with 3 counts of armed robbery. What happened to the other 2 counts?
This charge,
The one you're doing time on it, you were originally charged with armed robbery, 3 counts, aggravated battery, 2 counts.
okay. I'm not, those 3 armed robberies got dropped to 3 purse snatching, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, but why was it 3 counts and instead of 1 count of armed robbery?
It was 3 different individuals, sir. That day I remember I snatched 3 purses.
Okay, it was all at that bus stop and
Yes, sir. Throughout that day, yes, sir.
okay, I got a better understanding now. Okay, and it's still your statement that there was no weapon involved, it was just keys.
It's a car key.
Okay. As I stated, the victim Ian Johnson was unopposed, and we didn't get any feedback from the rest. Law enforcement, you have some opposition. Your risk is low, your needs are low. Where are you gonna stay? Where are you gonna live?
My father's house.
Where's that at?
It's in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I plan on going there until my parole's up, and then I'm going to move to Atlanta for my mother, where I have a more stable foundation. But my father lives in New Orleans. He's willing to accept me in as long as I'm willing to stay.
Would your mama accept you? Why don't you try to move there now?
I would, well, actually, this is my first time on parole. I guess just listening to the guys or whatever, I was told it's better to parole to New Orleans than another state. I don't know if I got that correct or not.
No, you didn't get that correct. If that's the parole way, you're gonna have the most support and be less likely to commit any offense.
That would actually be New Orleans. It's just my father, he's real militant. He's gonna keep me in line. It's just I just felt like I have more opportunities in Atlanta. That's why I want to move to Atlanta.
I see in 622, you had a fight. You were written up for a fight. What was that about?
The day they came to reentry, told us we were leaving because we had too much time. It's like when they was moving us and me and the guy got into it about a bag. He tried to take my commissary bag, and it was just a simple fight. I went to the hole and only got 7 days for it.
You had any other write-ups since you've been there?
I had a write-up for me and the deputy had words. And I got hit with a taser for refusing, resisting arrest, something like that.
Okay, when was that write-up?
Before Christmas, I want to say December 17, 19, around that time. I had got 30 days in the hole and I got out in January. So it was in December of last year.
Who's in there with you?
Nobody, sure.
Could you get me a deputy or a warden?
Deputy Warren.
A deputy or a warden,
Okay.
whoever's right there with you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're correct, that's it.
Mr. Reed stated that he had a write-up for a fight back around Christmas time. Do you recall that?
No, sir, I don't. The person that does the disciplinary for write-up is not here. So I don't have any paperwork on them when I'm coming before the board. But I can look into it. Give me a minute, I can find out and let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to know what the write-up was for, because it could automatically disqualify.
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second.
I got a question too.
Sure. She has a question while we're waiting, Mr. Reed.
Mr. Reed, first of all, I want to inform you of this, going forward. When you look at your Louisiana State Police rap sheet, at the top of yours, it reads violent offender. So when an officer pull you over, look at your criminal history, they're gonna see violent offender. I think it's important that you know that. So when the officers approach you, you recognize that that information is in their head. You're a violent offender. No sudden moves, no. You picking up what I'm putting down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Now, my next question to you is how are you going, you said all this happened because of depression, things wasn't going your way. That's a lie. That's going to continue to happen. So let's play that role since we got a few minutes. You get out of jail and your mother-in-law says, no, your son is 6 years old. You cannot see your son. She has guardianship that's within her right. What are you gonna do? How you gonna handle that?
My first option is to just go through the courts and start off.
What if you ain't got no money?
It's like I found myself with God, and I know like my anger. And
Now I need you to tell me exactly what you're gonna do, what actions you're gonna take, who you gonna call, what resources are you gonna try to use? Because I hear that your son is important to you.
Yes, ma'am. My resources is just my father and my mother, and you know, I can see them, they really want to help me. So far as getting the money together and getting the lawyer and everything, I don't think that's going to be a problem. But just to be patient and not let the small things agitate me of her attitude.
But now seeing your son is not a small thing.
I'm saying as far as like my mother-in-law, like if we get into an argument, just, you know, let her just not argue back, not give her what she's looking for. Just be patient and know that, you know, it's going to work out in the long run.
So I'm still want to hear exactly what you're gonna do.
Man, to be honest with you, it's wise. That's all I can do is just be patient and just hope for the best and just go through the motions with the court. That's the only thing I could do, man. But if I try to pressure and you know it could be a problem, and I don't want that. You know, I'm 33. I can't come back to jail for nothing dumb. Period.
And then and some innocent person sit at the bus stop waiting to catch the bus. They take the wrath from your mother-in-law and you not being able to see your son. That makes you a public safety concern. You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
That's why I need you to, I just need to hear from you what you're gonna do going forward. Because life is gonna happen. You're gonna hear no. Things are not gonna work out as planned. You can put forth the best effort and you might get done wrong. You're gonna get mistreated. You're gonna get done wrong. That's just what happens. It happens to all of us. How you gonna respond to it?
No, man, I'm not gonna never give up. I'm not gonna go back down that path that I was on. You know, I lost a lot of time in my child's life, you know, just being in jail. Like, who's to say if I wasn't in here, what's the circumstance, the situation to be with me and my mother, though? Maybe it would have been better. It's just, I didn't have the patience to wait it out. So, you know, I learned patience and I learned how to, you know, my decision making is 100% better.
But you did 9 years in DOC. Did you get any programs in those 9 years?
Man, I done 9 years in the state of Texas. Those
Oh,
charges
okay.
in the state of Texas.
What kind of programs did you get in Texas?
I got my GED. I had a class called cognitive intervention, thinking for a change.
If you had employed that cognitive intervention in this situation, you wouldn't be here. Can we agree on that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But you got out, this happened after serving 9 years and having programs. That concerns me. So what's gonna be different?
My decision making just to accept what comes and not go at it at a negative way and not look at it in a negative way. It's just to continue to be patient, continue to know that everything's gonna be all right and not act in a foolish way.
And one thing I didn't hear you say, you can pray for your son. He can be a regular part of your prayer life. Pray that he have a good life. Because you know, the statistics show that if you stay in jail, that's where he's gonna end up at.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what the statistics show.
Did you ever bond out, by any chance?
I have
When you
never
take
bonded
charge?
out.
So what date did you go into prison?
I went to prison July 22nd, 2019.
Done 4 years, but your rap sheet,
I have got 5 years for the assault on a deputy. So it's like
so they didn't give you credit.
They didn't from the first day I got locked up. I got credit from the day.
I got you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it shows you would have 2 years left to do. If you don't get out at all with any good time, you'd have 2 years left.
Were you arrested in Texas on a parole violation warrant? That was in 2019.
Close.
Okay, with that situation, I was trying to get my parole shipped to Louisiana. And I had a parole officer, he fresh in the United States, he was a African descent.
So he was a parole officer where?
In the state of Texas.
Okay.
And I was trying to get my parole shipped to Louisiana. I gave him the address to my father's house. I gave him the address to the wing stop I was going to be working at. And he told me it's going to take 90 days. So my schedule was 90 days, my parole be shipped to Louisiana. When those 90 days came, he told me he didn't do all the paperwork. I got to wait another 90 days. So at that point, I asked to speak to the supervisor. Her name was Miss Ashley Scroggins. And, you know, she told him that he was wrong. And she told me, I told her if I stay in Texas, I'll have nowhere to live. So she said, if you go to Louisiana, just know that you'll have a warrant out for your arrest. Now, when I came to Louisiana, I got locked up for my license plate. It fell from the window, it was a paper tag. Texas didn't come pick me up. While I was in jail, Texas sent me a piece of paper. I signed that it was supposed to be coherent, that I get credit for time served for the time I'm doing now. And I signed all the paperwork and I sent it off. I had my wife check on it. And she said that they got the paperwork. I don't know as far as like how's the process going to take or what's the process going to be.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir. I talked to the investigators on the fight, and they deemed that his fight he was an aggressor, he was a defense. the people was actually starting with him, so he had to defend himself. That's why he got into the altercation.
I call from the executive session.
I second.
We'll go,
Vote.
Photograph number,
Yes.
Parole.
Yes.
yes,
There's been a motion and a second for executive session. We're going to be at a short recess to discuss matters of a confidential nature. We will resume in just a few moments. Committee on Parole is called back to order. Mr. Reed, is there anything you'd like to say before the board votes?
It's being locked up this time, you know, I really feel like, you know, time is valuable, family is valuable. You know, like, I dealt away with my anger, and I'm a better person all around. And my decision making is better, you know, I found God, and I'm working to becoming a better version of myself. And I know that things is not always gonna go my way, and I just gotta know how to continue to be patient. Like, when I went to court, my victims was there. I apologized to them. I told them how sorry I was and the things that I was going through. And I just asked them, can they truly forgive me? All in all, I'm just trying to be a better person and be there for my son, because he's my only child. And I just pray that the parole board can grant me parole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reed. I think we're ready to vote. Mr. Freeman?
okay, Mr. Reed, you stated to me that when all of this happened, you were very, very intoxicated, depressed and all of that. And I see nothing to where we've taken care of the substance abuse problem, which we don't want you to come back. You do have a child out there. So my vote is to be to grant conditional on completing the Steve Hall program, which we'll get you into as soon as possible, which shouldn't be long at all.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Ms. Wise?
Mr. Reed, I see you differently, but I'm gonna go with my colleagues. And, but I want you to work on that compact to Georgia. So when you get out, you'll be already situated. When you get to Steve Hall, let them know your residence plan, get the address and move and live with your wife.
That's my.
That is my vote. I vote to grant, as outlined by Mr. Freeman.
Mr. Reed, you have 2 votes to grant conditionally upon completion of Steve Hoyle. I agree with my colleagues. That'll be our decision. So your parole has been granted, conditioned upon your entering and completing the Steve Hall program. We'll do everything on this end to try to get you in as quickly as we can. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Can I ask one question? The Steve Hart program, that's in Bossier City?
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay, so the programs are here, there's different programs, because they have programs in Plaquemine.
Right.
Yeah, they don't have an intensive substance abuse there.
Okay, thank you so much. God bless you.
Good luck to you, sir.
Good luck.
Yes, thank you.